of the farmyard. Atlas. Nothing was moving. Nobody was awake. The farmyard was silent. All the animals were fast asleep. There was darkness all around. The earth was still and at peace. Slowly, bit by bit, far away in the east, the black sky began to brighten. At first, the sky turned dark blue. The blue turned to light blue. The light blue became grey. The grey gave way to yellow. The yellow slipped into orange, and the orange became a glaring white. A burning, glowing sun began to rise just behind the distant hills, and suddenly a loud cry broke the peace. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo! It was time for the farmyard to come to life. The big cockerel who made that noise flapped his wings and flew down from his roost. He scuttled across the yard like a general. He was in command. He was the lord of the farmyard, the king. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cried the cockerel again, and as if this was not enough, he flapped his wings noisily. The farmer called this cockerel Atlas. He was big and strong and mighty. I am the master of the farmyard, the king, crowed the cockerel to the animals of the farmyard. It's my job to wake up before you. It's my duty to raise you from your sleep. I am in charge, so listen to me. Hear my cry. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo! Come on, you lazy lot. Wake up, wake up. There's much work to do. Flying up into the air, Atlas perched on a haystack and faced the east. The sun, now a big ball of red and orange, had risen above the hills. The sky was bright and clear. It would be another fine day on the farm. All was well with the world, or so it appeared to Atlas at this time. Atlas turned towards the south. Far off in the distance, along the dusty track leading to the farm, he saw a cloud. It was a low, dusty cloud that was getting bigger and bigger. A visitor, thought Atlas. What would a visitor be doing coming to the farm so early? The cloud got bigger still and drew closer. Atlas could now see what was making the cloud. It was an old brown van rattling along the track. Atlas could hear the roar of its engine. He could see the old man driving the van. With a great roar, big roar, and a final burst of smoke, the van came past the farmyard and stopped outside the farmer's house. The driver opened the door and got out, but he left the engine running. He stood beside the van with his hands on his hips. Slowly, the dust and smoke settled. The old man walked round to the back of the van and opened the rear door. He bent inside and took out a large box with holes in its sides and a handle at the top. The old man carried the box to the door of the farmhouse. He put it down carefully by his feet and knocked on the door. He took out a piece of paper and pen from his jacket pocket and began to write something. After a short while, the farmhouse door opened and the farmer came out. He and the old man talked for a minute. The farmer took the paper from the man, wrote something on it and gave it back. Then the farmer picked up the box and took it inside. The driver returned to his van and got inside. The van's engine roared into life. The van turned in a wide circle and rattled off along the track. A large cloud of dust appeared again, following the van into the distance. Half an hour later, the farmer came into the farmyard. Atlas looked down at him from the haystack. The farmer was carrying the box with holes in its sides. He put it down on the ground and opened the door on one side of it. "Come on, my beauty," he said, bending over the box. "Come out and see your new home." The farmer gently tapped the side of the box. Nothing happened. He bent over further and peered inside. Then, moving his head clear of the door, he gave the side of the box a loud thump with his fist, and this time out came a magnificent-looking cockerel. The newcomer was even more powerful than Atlas. "There are you," said the farmer, admiring the cockerel standing in the sunshine. "What a fine bird you are! A fine bird needs a fine name. Yes, now let me think." The farmer paced up and down the yard. He rubbed his chin and scratched the back of his head. Then he stopped, looking lovingly at the bird and smiled. "Hercules," he said aloud. "Yes, Hercules. That's what we shall call you. I am sure you will find your way round the yard. Hercules, it's early enough in the day to announce your arrival. So why don't you, eh? Come on, my beauty. What have you got to say for yourself?" The farmer gazed at the silent cockerel. Then he shook his head, picked up the empty box and returned to the farmhouse. Before he went inside, stopped by the door and turned to look at Hercules once more. The cockerel was inspecting the farmyard and scratching at the earth. He spread his wings and fanned his feathers. He had been in that small box too long, far too long. He had been silent too long, far, far too long. Hercules turned to the east. The sun was now up in the sky, some way above the blue hills. In the distance, Hercules stretched his neck and in a clear voice sang out, "Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo!" echoed Atlas. Even more loudly from the haystack. The farmer standing at his open door smiled and said, "You will work it out between you, I am sure. Learn to live with each other." Thank you, friends. To get the interesting story after it, subscribe my channel to get notification.